Community life brings out the best in us. Because in community life, we communicate. You speak, I listen. I speak, you listen. That is called conversation. It is opposed to chatter, to shouting, to communication of the deaf, dialogue of the deaf, who don't listen to one another. You listen, I speak. I speak, you listen. You pray together. The prayer is more powerful than when you pray alone. Community life, therefore, helps us to grow. You cannot become all you can become without other people. You absolutely need other people in order to become what you can become. You cannot be a good brother without other brothers. Even the word brother is a relative term. One you cannot become a good father without your wife. You cannot become a good wife without your husband. You cannot become a good child without your parents. There is one aspect of community life on which I want to dwell. Eating. Eating is a very important aspect of community life. You will notice human beings are very different from dogs and goats and cows. If you have a group of dogs, even if they are the same parent, you throw to them meat or anything to eat, you think they face one another and eat it. No. Each of them will jump, take it, run away to one corner and eat it alone. Human beings are different. Human beings eat facing one another. When human beings eat, if I invite you to come, let's have lunch. You face me, I face you. If it is a dog, the dog doesn't face the other dog and then eat. I know. The dog faces the meat, not the other dog. Now, if you are a human being and we come to eat, we can test you. Whom are you facing? If you face the other brother, you are growing up. If you face the banana, you are not grown up yet. If you face the semolina, you are a job passenger. Have you ever seen a job passenger? This is a job contractor. Aputana to you, to be nice, Jack Robinson. Yeah, only over. Move. Is that your culture? Eating is primarily not putting the food into your stomach, but facing the other person in a very pleasant atmosphere. Pope John Paul II was a master of communication while eating. We were working for him. It was a joy to walk near Pope John Paul II. He would invite the Cardinal and the Bishop Secretary and the other Secretary for lunch. But lunch wasn't just putting the food into you. And no, it was to meet him. We discussed the work we are doing. He listens, I speak. He speaks, I listen. It is wonderful. In a pleasant atmosphere. If you want to know a person's quality, eat with that person. A person of low quality, once you start eating, he sees not you, but the food. He concentrates not on you, but on family. Don't you see it's not good? Especially a Bulgarian nine, a pass, a pass, Not good. What should they do? Together. The father, the mother, the children. Together. In a pleasant atmosphere. It is a pleasant atmosphere to communicate. Eating is very important in community. Happy. That is the most important thing. It is a very important aspect of community life. I told you before about Bernard Fondler. Bernard Fondler was a seminarian at Enugu. Later on, he was not ordained a priest. He went back to Cameroonian. He became a professor in Yaoundé and so on. And he was famous in Cameroon. I went to visit him about 1973. And we were having lunch in his house. His sister cooked. And we were discussing. And I finished eating. And I put my plate away. And he also put his fork and knife together. And he put his plate away. And he continued discussing. He had not eaten anything at all. He forgot the whole food. He was concentrating on what two of us were discussing. Many people are not grown up at all. They are too materialistic. In any case, many people eat too much. You may say, Cardinal, you going to hear, I will eat, you have not done too much. Perhaps not. What is the opposite of community life? The opposite is selfishness. Not realizing that you are selfish. If you are alone, you may become idiosyncratic. You become weird. You become self-centered. You become irregular in prayer. You overfeed yourself. You eat too much. You drink wine too much because you are alone. You like some type of food and you are attached to it, which diminishes you as a spiritual person. You need other people in order to become all you can become. To Christ be honor and glory forever and ever.